Imagine holding an ancient dust-covered book in your hands, a book so secretive, so enigmatic, that it was hidden away for centuries. Inside its pages lies knowledge so profound, so disruptive, that it was deemed dangerous, even forbidden. Today we delve into one of the most controversial texts ever written about the life of Jesus, the Gospel of Judas. This text presents ideas about good and evil that are vastly different from those found in the Bible, opening a window into a hidden world of secret wisdom, universal struggles, and truths most have never heard. What you're about to uncover will challenge everything you think you know, not just about Judas, but about the very foundation of faith and betrayal. In this alternative narrative, Judas Iscariot is not the simple villain history has painted him to be. Instead, he is portrayed as a confidant and a guide, the only one who truly understands the mysterious teachings of Jesus. The story most of us know casts Judas as a traitor who betrayed Jesus for a paltry sum minus 30 pieces of silver. This act of betrayal has forever marked him as one of history's greatest villains. However, in the Gospel of Judas, an ancient text unearthed after nearly 2,000 years, this narrative takes a surprising and transformative turn. Written in the 2nd century AD, this gospel reimagines Judas not as a betrayer, but as a trusted disciple acting on Jesus' instructions. It is believed to have been composed by a group of early Christians known as the Gnostics. Unlike mainstream Christianity, the Gnostics held that salvation came not through faith alone, but through gnosis, a deep, mystical knowledge of the divine. To these early Gnostics, Judas was not a villain but a pivotal figure. They believed he possessed a level of understanding and knowledge that surpassed even that of the other disciples. For them, Judas' betrayal was not an act of treachery, but a necessary step in a divine plan to aid humanity. The Gospel of Judas lay hidden for centuries until it was discovered in Egypt during the 1970s. After decades of painstaking restoration and translation, the text was finally published in 2006. Its revelations shocked the world, offering a perspective on Judas that few could have imagined. In this gospel, Judas is not the archetypal traitor. Instead, he is depicted as a man burdened with a profound and painful responsibility. He acts not out of greed or malice, but out of obedience to Jesus' request, fulfilling a plan that only he fully understood. This radical reimagining of Judas challenges long-held beliefs about betrayal, loyalty, and forgiveness. If Judas was merely following Jesus' instructions, then what does that say about sin, redemption, and the entire framework of Christian morality? Early church leaders recognized the danger posed by such ideas. By the 4th century AD, as they were finalizing the texts that would form the Bible, they excluded writings like the Gospel of Judas that presented alternative perspectives on salvation and authority. Declared heretical, this gospel was hidden away, its teachings suppressed for centuries. The Church sought to maintain a unified message about faith, sin, and redemption, and the Gospel of Judas posed a direct threat to that unity. It suggested that Judas was not the ultimate betrayer, but someone who acted with divine understanding. This interpretation could have upended the Church's teachings on sin, authority, and the role of intermediaries in the relationship between humans and the divine. In this gospel, Judas emerges as a figure of extraordinary insight. He is portrayed as the only disciple capable of grasping the profound truths Jesus shared. The other disciples, by contrast, are depicted as unable to see beyond the surface, adhering to traditional beliefs without understanding the deeper spiritual realities. The Gnostics viewed the material world as a flawed creation, a prison crafted by the demiurge, a lesser divine being. This being, identified by some Gnostics with the God of the Old Testament, was seen as a force of ignorance and deception. To escape the demiurge's influence and reconnect with the true divine source required gnosis, a transcendent understanding of the universe's hidden truths. According to the Gospel of Judas, Jesus entrusted Judas with this secret knowledge. In one pivotal moment, Jesus confides in Judas about his origin, revealing that he comes from a realm far beyond this earthly existence, Unlike the other disciples, Judas perceives this truth and acts upon it, understanding that Jesus' death is necessary to free his divine essence from the physical body. In this narrative, Judas' so-called betrayal becomes an act of profound courage and sacrifice. He carries out a plan that others would see as treachery, but that he knows to be essential for humanity's salvation. This reinterpretation of Judas not only redefines his role, but also challenges the broader framework of early Christianity. The Gnostics' emphasis on hidden knowledge as the key to salvation stood in stark contrast to the Church's teachings, which prioritized faith, obedience, and communal worship. The Gospel of Judas offers a compelling reimagining of the dynamics between Jesus and his disciples, presenting them not as a unified group of equals, but as a collection of individuals whose understanding of Jesus' mission varies significantly. The other disciples are portrayed as sincere yet limited in their comprehension, embodying a conventional approach to faith. They adhere to established rituals, demonstrate devotion, and follow Jesus, yet their perception of his teachings remains superficial. In contrast, Judas Iscariot emerges as the lone figure capable of grasping the profound truths Jesus sought to impart. Within this narrative, Judas is not a villain, but an enlightened disciple, someone who perceives the deeper cosmic reality behind Jesus' mission. He recognizes that the path to spiritual liberation requires actions that may seem contradictory or even reprehensible by worldly standards. His role demands immense courage, a willingness to accept misunderstanding, condemnation, and eternal infamy in service of a divine plan. This perspective recasts Judas as a symbol of spiritual insight, a figure who transcends the limitations of conventional faith to embrace a higher truth. Unlike the other disciples, who remain bound by their earthly perceptions and adherence to tradition, Judas dares to step beyond these confines, embodying the Gnostic ideal of enlightenment through hidden knowledge, gnosis. The implications of this narrative are profound. By framing Judas' actions as a fulfillment of Jesus' request, the Gospel of Judas challenges traditional interpretations of loyalty, betrayal, and redemption. It suggests that true spiritual understanding often requires actions that defy societal norms and invites readers to reconsider the nature of divine purpose. Unsurprisingly, the early church rejected this narrative. At a time when the Christian faith was still taking shape and striving for unity, church leaders viewed the Gnostic emphasis on individual enlightenment as a direct threat to their authority. The Gnostics advocated for personal spiritual journeys and the pursuit of esoteric truths, undermining the Church's role as the central mediator between believers and the divine. Allowing texts like the Gospel of Judas to gain acceptance would have disrupted the Church's efforts to establish a cohesive doctrine. Such texts posed uncomfortable questions about the nature of salvation, authority, and the necessity of institutionalized faith. For the Church to maintain its power and unify its followers, it needed to present a consistent narrative, one that emphasized communal faith, adherence to Church teachings, and the rejection of alternative paths to salvation. To achieve this, the Church systematically excluded Gnostic texts like the Gospel of Judas from the canonical Bible, labeling them heretical and dangerous. By doing so, they reinforced the idea that salvation could only be attained through faith as guided by Church authority, effectively silencing dissenting voices and alternative interpretations. Yet despite these efforts, the Gospel of Judas survived. Hidden for centuries, it lay dormant until its rediscovery in the 20th century. Its reemergence offers a unique opportunity to revisit and re-examine the foundations of Christian thought. This ancient text compels us to confront difficult questions about the interplay between faith, knowledge, and power. The Gospel of Judas is a challenge to conventional wisdom. It invites us to look beyond the familiar stories and consider perspectives that were deliberately marginalized. It suggests that Judas, far from being the archetypal traitor, might have been the one disciple who truly understood Jesus' teachings, a figure who, in following a higher plan, became a pariah for the sake of humanity's spiritual evolution. This interpretation does not merely shift our understanding of Judas, it transforms the entire narrative of Jesus' mission. It raises questions about the nature of sacrifice, the value of hidden knowledge, and the role of authority in defining religious truth. In this light, Judas' actions take on a new significance, one that forces us to grapple with the complexities of faith and the possibility that true understanding often comes at great personal cost. The Gospel of Judas is more than a story about betrayal. It is a profound exploration of spiritual enlightenment. It reminds us that the search for truth is rarely straightforward and often requires challenging deeply held beliefs. By presenting Judas as an enlightened figure, the text dares us to reconsider what it means to act in accordance with divine will, even when such actions appear to contradict moral or societal norms. The early church's suppression of this gospel speaks to the broader struggle to define orthodoxy and control the narrative of salvation. By excluding alternative texts, the church sought to create a unified doctrine, but in doing so, it also silenced voices that offered valuable insights into the nature of faith and the human experience. The rediscovery of the Gospel of Judas is a reminder of the richness and diversity of early Christian thought. It challenges us to think critically about the history of religious authority and the ways in which certain ideas have been elevated while others have been suppressed. As we reflect on this ancient text, we are reminded that spiritual truth is often elusive, hidden beneath layers of tradition, interpretation, and power dynamics. The Gospel of Judas offers a glimpse into a world of alternative possibilities, encouraging us to question, seek, and explore the mysteries of faith with an open mind. Thank you for joining us on this journey into one of history's most enigmatic and controversial texts. If this exploration has deepened your curiosity, we invite you to support our channel and help us uncover more hidden stories. Subscribe to become part of our community, and until next time, continue to question, seek, and explore the truths that lie beyond the surface.